Drokna, the power of greatness, and the evil underdread. Introduction. An iron flail I hold in my hands. It is seen of the crafted and made by the fingers of some unverified craftsman. I am entirely fitted in plate, and it is well made of iron, unknown. I hold no morals with any subject or magistrate, nor am I a knight sworn to an oath. I wear a one-horned helm of leather, and my boots are identically the same. I follow the very footsteps of another I admired throughout childhood and training. The man I had admired is a servant to his underdread. Underdread, the leader of the dreads, is said to by all the villagers to be a man of many evil doings. And it is also said you should never trust such a man. There is other rumors that he has another name that no one should ever speak of. The rumor is that his other name is a curse, and if used, it will forever bind you to his services. Drokna, are you ready? Ready? Oh yeah, I almost forgot about Mom's wake. We must hurry, or we may be late. I know. And don't forget about how your mother had died. I know, exactly as Lady Mithra did when she had a bad heart. Meanwhile, while Drokna was getting ready, his admirer, the Spirit Finder, was willing up his way from Dread's servitude. He had somehow distinguished an artifact that can block Dread's dangerous hexings and managed to free himself from his curse. And with him now being freed of Underdread, there's an even bigger chance to bring good doings back into the land of greatness. This is good news, Your Holiness. It is. It is indeed. Chapter 1. Learning to Heal. The death of Mother and her wake had consumed most of the morning. Father and I had been homesick. Our home is a deserted place half the time and is elegantly filled with the usual furnishings of the day and age. Our couch is a homey sitting arrangement and has a leather appearance. A dinette table overlooks the kitchen and is of solid forest wood, and a bookshelf lies to the left of all the displays against a deserted wall, exquisitely made. My room is upstairs and is no different than the rest of the house, and Father's room is downstairs and nearly the same as my own, where him and Mother used to sleep. The morning had split itself into afternoon. The ride on horseback on the trail had been an hour or two before we had reached the village again with a sign that had said, "Welcome to Shrine's Peak." Shrine's Peak is a cozy place, and its overall purpose is to act as a harbor for villagers passing through the land of greatness. A mark had imbued about a candle and was hung specifically for healing and protection. Drokna's father had always used artifacts and jewelry because he said they had enormous powers versus the undead. Ready to learn, Drokna? Yeah, I'm ready. Then, let the ceremony begin. The ceremony is a ritual when a mortal becomes a priest. Its sole meaning is its practice, the practice of prayers. Drokna and his father had practiced 6 months and 7 days. The ritual had been long and required lots of endurance and restoration. His intelligence had grown higher and higher in each day. The practice of prayers had paid off and had made him ever more willful to practice even harder. You are now a priest, Drokna, and you are hereby worthy of the power of greatness. Chapter 2. The power of greatness. There is a potential inside of all of us, Drokna. What is potential, Siege? Potential is our capability. Whichever we are capable of is our capabilities. Am I capable? I don't know, Siege. The power of greatness is not compatible by all. Why not? Because, Drokna, you must be capable of using its powers in order to wield its capabilities. Can I try, Siege? Sure. Take the Book of Holiness and hold it in thy hands. Drokna had taken the book. The symbiosis was familiar to him as it was to his mother before she had died. The book grew to a white fiery light, and his armor became holy with its power. What is this I feel, Siege? It's the power of greatness, Drokna. I am capable, aren't I, Siege? Yes, you are, Drokna. You definitely are. It had been hours since Drokna held the book in his hands. I found your blood child, Your Holiness. You did. Yes, I did. Where is he? I will not tell you where he is, and why not? Because he is my own son. Chapter 3, The Legend of the Blood Child. There was a darkness that had filled a night many of years ago. The land was tormented by its evil doings and was almost unchangeable. Gore lined in the streets of every town but one, and it was a small village. The village had received its secreted name after its secrecy, the Secret. Since it was a secret, it was named the Secreted Cove, and it was sworn to be protected by His Holiness's knights. The Secreted Cove was built by His Holiness, and its sole purpose is to age as a sanctuary for the birth of his children, so that no mortal or soul can know of it. It was roughly around the first seed. The baby was born and it left His Holiness weekend. His Holiness knew it would take days to recover from his child's birth. After the baby was born, The Dreads had found out His Holiness's plans. They were infuriated by them and had discovered where he might have been hiding. The night of his birth, the Dreads had attacked the village. His Holiness was too weak to fight them off. The child was then kidnapped by his Underdread, and he knew if they were to get a hold of his blood-related predecessor, that they would one day bring wrongdoings back into the land of greatness. Although there was a twist and the Dreads were ambushed. The baby was then taken to Shrine's Peak to a man named Siege, who had then raised the little boy up as his own. No one had a clue where the child had been taken that night. Some had sworn his very death and is never to return. Chapter 4. The Ghost of Greatness. There was a whisper into a villager's ear. It had said, "Look over there! Isn't that the Spirit Finder?" "Yes, it is the Spirit Finder! Hey, Spirit Finder!" The encounter had lasted only a moment and then had went silent. The hooded man the villagers had described had vanished before their very own eyes. "He was there, I swear it! Yeah, it was not even a half an hour ago when we seen him. Where could he be?" Chapter 5. The Search. The search for the hooded man had continued. The regiment, led by Underdread's sidekick, Godfrey, had taken a personal note to where the villagers say that the so-called Spirit Finder might have gone. The tracking equal to hours of skirmishing and had somewhat found itself in circles. "This cannot be right." "What do you mean, sir?" "We must be headed in the wrong direction." "But, sir, our bloodhounds are the best trackers in all of greatness." "I know they are, you pube." "Yes, sir." "He has to be around here somewhere." "But, sir, the hounds say." "The hounds nothing." "But, sir, search the entire continent." "Yes, sir, I want him found." Chapter 6. I'll Never Be a Dread. Godfrey's men had been led to a cave deep within the woods of darkness. A torch lit the cave and had taken place deep within its depths. "What was that?" "I don't know, sir." "Well, what are you standing around for? Find out." "Yes, sir." Godfrey's men had scoured every rock until they had reached a clearing that had been of the scent of their bloodhounds' noses' detection. "We found something, sir." A swift footing had Godfrey's men off guard. There was nowhere to go and nowhere to escape. "Stop! I will never be a Dread." And then, without warning, the voice diminished and there was no sign of any mortal or any man. "Where did he go?" "I don't know, sir." Chapter 7. An Unexpected Return. The night had been silent to Godfrey's men and had been almost normal since Godfrey had began his regiment. Godfrey and his men had set up camp outside the refugee cave. The moon was a full and the stars were a-glowing ever bright. The night was of a no better than a word than just perfect. There were no birds chirping, only an owl hooting at an undead tree. It was an average night until... "Call off your men, Godfrey. What are you going to do?" "I'm warning you, Godfrey." A swift breeze blew aside the cave's entrance. The bushes shook of many rodents. "What is this?" "It's the end of the road, Godfrey." "I'll decide that, Spirit Finder. We'll see." A shout alarmed the bushes. A bunch of men of many numbers charged the cave alongside the camp. Swords clinged and clanged together, and blood unshedded the soiled mess. A long hour of slashing and hacking had led to a victory for His Holiness, and Godfrey had been slain by the hands of the Spirit Finder. "Finally, I have your spirit, Godfrey, and with your spirit I can now defeat Dread and rid of all of his evil doings from the land of greatness forever." Chapter 8. And Into Underdread. The screams of Godfrey's men had filled the dusk of morning's first Sunday. "Where is Underdread, you nasty little dread?" I don't know where he is." "He lies, Spirit Finder. Where is he? Or I will separate your left toe." "I don't know." "All right. He wants to play hard. Cut off his toe, Knight." "Okay, wait. You win. He's not far up the trail, just over the mountain of the Dreads." "I see." We attack at nightfall. The Spirit Finder and his men had followed the trail up the mountains. The afternoon had fell upon them as soon as they reached the Underdread's hideout. "We camp here until sundown." The night had came to life to Spirit Finder and his men not long after the battle plans were made. Guards can take the right flank here along the side of the fortress. Knights, you will take the right. The Spirit Finder will take the middle and begin the battle. All had been underway. They had all taken their positions. Underdread. There was no answer. Underdread! It had seen of the abandoned, and the fortress had stood still when... Charge! The unexpected had become the expected. The Spirit Finder had reacted quickly and shouted, "Flank!" and all the men had re-entered into battle. The battle had presumed itself to be a great month of non-stop action, and his Underdread was nowhere near defeated. "You will die by my sword, Underdread." "Ha ha ha ha! You believe I will be defeated." Underdread's men had begun to weaken. Many had died from the lack of nutrition by his Underdread's wrongful doings, and Underdread was the last to stand in the dreads. "Surrender, Dread!" "Never!" "Then you will die by my sword." He swung his brightened blade, covered in blood, hard and fast. A slice of victory had overcome his spirit. Underdread's body had dropped to the mountain. The end, and to be continued.